The 30th of September 2022, you're very welcome back to Real True Education, not fake news. Just a quick look at the budget. No way can I go all into it, no time. The way it is, it's tax upon tax and reliefs upon reliefs and VAT, value added tax on tax. But one of the things that comes from it is that Germany, I read today and see today, is not going ahead with the carbon tax this autumn. And the Irish government is proceeding with the carbon tax, notwithstanding the energy crisis. They're going to pile on this tax. And this shows the theory I have, because people often ask it to me, is there a new world order? Well, there is. One of its hallmarks, one of its insignia or uniforms is the climate change, the whole thing. Whether you believe it or not, you can't be a member of the New World Order unless you believe and act on this climate change and put it centre of everything you believe in. And the situation is that, with the exception of a few doubters in the independent rural TDs, the vast majority of Irish politicians are fully behind this climate racket, hoax, whatever you call it. It's a method of control. It's replacing organised religion, and they have it going big time, and it's a big earner for them, the carbon tax and all of that. But the carbon tax is not going ahead in Germany, and it is in Ireland. And because of that, it is quite obvious that none of the parties fear the other getting into power. It used to be that when there was an IRA, that the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael were afraid that Sinn Féin get into power, because they'd have gunmen literally with TDs in the Dáil. So they've got rid of them a bit. And so now Sinn Féin is nothing like what was elected in Italy, what was elected in Sweden or Hungary. It's no way conservative extreme, or what they call right wing. It's extreme left wing. It's mad climate change, mad mass migration. And so there is nowhere for the voter to turn, because we have no alternative, it seems. So they know in Ireland that no matter what happens, you had Fianna Fáil, they destroyed the economy in 2008, and they were replaced by Fine Gael, and they people soon got sick of them and saw through them, and now they're facing the fact that Sinn Féin are likely to be the major party in the next government. But they don't fear them, they don't care about them. It doesn't matter to them, because they are all the one sows pigs. They're all the same crowd. And that's clear in Ireland. Where they're really caught is internationally and throughout the rest of Europe, where there are real conservative candidates doing well. So while we may never see a move towards conservatism in Ireland, you are seeing it elsewhere. And Ireland is only small, so it doesn't really matter. However, there's a price to be paid for what's going on. There's a price to be paid for the budget. They gave away 11 billion, and 11 billion. But then again, inflation is running at 10%, and this is all printed money. It's not real money. So a little of it is borrowed, but they'll never get their money back. So it's unreal times. But there was one other feature in the budget. There has been a problem in Ireland due to substandard gravel getting into concrete blocks and into concrete, and houses that are built with concrete blocks are crumbling, and there's a lot of them. And so there was a massive cry, which I would support, for people to get some help and rebuild these houses, or do something for them that would let them have their houses back, because the government was obliged to monitor, it has obliged to make sure that the proper standards are in place. It has people in place to do that. None of them work. No regulator in Ireland works. Regulators do not work in Ireland. They do not work. I've tested them to the limit several times. They don't work. It doesn't matter what they are. Maybe I'll make the exception of the Incorporated Law Society, and the reason why it works is that if they do let you down badly and they can be caught, they can be sued. The lawyers can be sued, and the Law Society provides the insurance for the lawyers. But very few other regulators are in that position. So while that one may work, the rest doesn't. Now the medical association perhaps is another type of a quasi-legal thing, but they're a different thing. But no appointed regulator works, and so you have the situation where all these blocks were made for years and years, and nobody noticed anything, and now they have to try and redress it. And you know what they're doing? They're putting 10% on the cost of a concrete block, the basic concrete block. And they're doing that because the concrete blocks are discrete in numbers. There's either 2 dozen, there's either 100 or 200, and they're putting a tax in Ireland where there's terrible homeless problems, where people are struggling trying to buy or build or try to get their houses some type of a roof over their head, to slap this tax on. So it's quite clear, like that's what the new world order is. Nearly all, except maybe 6 or 7 of Irish politicians, maybe 8, are signed up to this. It doesn't matter whether they signed, they are part of it. And the government knows. It knows it can, without any sanction, do this. It doesn't matter if there's an election. Sinn Féin will just replace them, and it's the very same. All of this cultural Marxist, strange new stuff, climate change baloney that we're in now will be is part of it. And so there you are. What a budget. Like, they did give some reliefs to people on welfare and that, but it's tiny, and the hardship coming. Now, one of the things in it then that comes about electricity, and it's very interesting to mention to you, is that there is a moratorium on the cutting off of electricity and gas from people until the winter's over, I think around April. So that means that if you have a bill pay, I have 2 bills, one with Bord Gáis, one with Electricity Ireland. If you get it, the standard bill, and you stop paying it, they won't cut you off. Now, that's going to be abused, of course, but in another standard. So they couldn't cut off. They started cutting off people who don't pay their bill. I think there's something like 1 in 6 people at the moment in arrears of electricity bill, and I don't know about gas. Have never had public gas, but that could change. But the thing about it is that they won't cut you off. Now, the anomaly in that, and it was mentioned by Taoiseach, that's the Deputy Prime Minister, Leo Varadkar, today, that if you have 2 people, one here, we'll say Julia, is a single mother with 3 children, and she has a prepay meter. Prepay. Now, don't confuse that with a smart meter. That's another thing, but this is a prepay, where you put in your coins and the electricity comes on, and if the meter runs out, electricity goes off. Now, nowadays, I'm informed, most of those are, you have a direct debit, so you can just press the button and it direct debits your account. Some of them you have a card, but whatever way they work, if it's a prepay, if you haven't the money in there, you get no electricity. So this lady here has the children in on a Tuesday evening at 4:30. She's cooking lunch. She has no money left. It's the day before the welfare is paid. This goes off. The kids get no dinner. Kids get no dinner because it's a prepay, and they tried to sell these prepays and push them on people as the answer to fuel poverty, when in fact they knew very well it was only a snare. This was the way to get them off the bill, so they didn't have to go through the process of cutting them off and disconnecting them. It was done automatically. Do you see the callous, sinister nature of our government and those who provide electricity? If you take, we'll say, Molly over here, she stays on the bill, she's not going to be cut off. Whether she pays it or not is irrelevant. Now, I probably will keep paying my bill. I suppose I will, but I wouldn't think you hate it. I mean, they'll probably come after me anyway. I'll pay nothing, give them nothing. And it'd be a great thing if nobody pays anything to them, because they're a shower of rascals. But the point about it is, this lady here can feed her family now till next April. She could probably pay a bit towards it. And that's what most will do, pay off 10 euros here and there. But she'll have electricity. The ones with the prepay are stuck. They got fooled. And all I can say to them is, please start watching my channel. I preached against doing anything that the government wants you to do. Never go the way they want you. Whether it's electric cars, whether it's smart meters, whether it's prepay. I did a video on smart meters. They are more expensive than the ordinary. And now today it was on the radio. most people haven't a clue what all this stuff they get. They get this stuff about the smart meter, and they don't know how it works or how to count it or anything else. So have nothing to do with any of it. Stay on your bill and pay off what you can a bit now here and there. And if you have a smart meter, you will not be allowed to go back to an account. They will not let you back to an account, so you can starve. Your children can go hungry, and that's the cruel nature of these people. And there'll be no upcry about it because we're governed by the usual politics, and there'll be no upcry. So folks, that's maybe you've learned a little bit from me there. Excuse me that the camera, I sometimes forget which side the little lens is on here, and I look that way when I should be looking that way. But that's the key. We have a tax on concrete blocks. The like of it never was heard before in the middle of a housing crisis. A tax on concrete blocks to build a house, to build a wall or anything else. I use them nearly every week. We have the smart meters proven to be the more expensive, and we have the prepay meters proven to be the worst choice that anyone could have made, because you're caught with them. When they go out, you have no electricity. So if you can't get a generator or you can't do anything else, then you're in trouble if your money runs out. There is a genuine fuel crisis. There's no doubt about that, but it's made worse by government policy. The fact that, I mean, as I said before, it's the highest fuel. So if the gas goes away up to there and all of these things is cheap, they get the same. So if you have two fuels and gas is this amount and coal is this amount, it's not this way, it's this way. And if the coal goes higher, the gas goes higher. This is what they've given the energy companies. Now, the other thing they're proposing now from the EU is a windfall tax. They probably maybe realise in their tiny brains that they've made a colossal mistake allowing that payment system. That companies should only charge and only add the charge according to the fuel costs and the fuel element. Now, there's the standing charge, which is different, but the fuel element of the bill should go depending on what fuel is used, and it's up to companies then to choose the cheapest fuel. But gas has taken a hike, so the prices have gone up. I hope I haven't confused you too much, but a lot of people on the radio today, they don't understand the smart meter, and I do kind of understand it, but I don't want to bother. I don't want to go there. If they can't provide me with a reliable electricity service, then where I can, I'll try and go elsewhere and leave them sitting. And that's what some people may do. Others will just have to do without. They'll have to sit in the cold. There'll be no electric blankets. There could be no Wi-Fi. And most of the heating from oil needs electricity, so you're caught there as well. So they really have made a mess of it, and hopefully maybe the suffering that will come about will cause people to think twice and listen to those who can count. That's it, folks. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the budget. They know they can do absolutely as they like. And don't forget, Irish government is not at liberty to make a budget without consulting the EU and have it approved by the European Union. We'll see you back for something else to say. A thumbs up and a thumbs down. That's enough. Goodbye.